Look how he makes himself laugh. Cool, and I was a nerd, and I pulled it off.
Artist and a narcissist, it's all making sense. It's all coming together now.
Can't all be fucking using our boobs to get down.
Okay, what you're saying is you're attracted to Ellen DeGeneres because you were all about this. Who was in Satan's late that night dressed as fucking Dumbledore? Drugs, man.
I don't even know how you do. I don't know how you do crack.
Hi, and welcome to the first and potentially secret episode of the podcast Life Begins with me, John Stabler-Wright, and
Me, Georgia Stabler-Wright.
And if you might have guessed, we are husband and wife. This podcast is the story of how our lives were in parallel and how they became intertwined. We'll be going month by month, looking at the big news stories and trends in that month, looking at the music and the films that were popular at the time, as well as looking back at some photos and messages that we thought were pertinent from that month in terms of our lives separately and together, and talking about what they mean for us. As is tradition with us living important moments, which is what this podcast is all about, we're going to open this bottle of Prosecco, which is what we do at all big occasions in our life. We always open a bottle of Prosecco, including things like when we bought our house together, when we got married, when we got Santhea, who's somewhere down there. We always open a bottle of Prosecco, drink it, and keep the cork. So I'm going to do that now, and George is going to explain which month we're going to be looking at today.
So today's episode, we're talking about the month where I turned 30 and the month before John and I met, which was November 2021.
So to start every episode of the podcast, we go back and we look at the camera roll in our phone for photos from that month, starting with the first admissible photo from that month. So the first one that we feel comfortable to share, and then choosing 3 to 5 other photos throughout the month that we feel encapsulate what was going on that month. So I've got mine here, and George has got hers. Do you want to start with yours, or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. Mine's really lame. When I was looking back through the camera roll and the messages and thinking about this month in my life, it was very much summed up by like self-improvement, mental health, which is not a lame thing, but the self-improvement bit was like very much about going to the gym as often as possible, as single men tend to do.
You were going like twice a week, twice a day, and twice a day.
Twice a day at times, yeah. So the picture that I've got is, I'm quite proud of this, if I'm honest, because at the point, just before we met and when we met, I had never been so consistent with any exercise regime. And, you know, I was lifting really heavy weights and I was doing really well. Doesn't take away from the fact that it was the focus on it was pretty lame from my perspective, but I'd just been given, I think, member of the month at the gym. Now, you eventually joined that same gym, which we'll come back to at some point. And you know, it's quite an intense, not like good people and a good gym. Yeah. Like it's not that easy to get member of the month in that environment, I think.
No.
So it is something that I'm proud of. But when I interrogate my motivations for going to the gym, I'm a little bit like, that's very midlife crisis type situation. So yeah, that was my first photo that I thought was admissible. And this was back when the gym was like underground. So when you joined the gym, it really had shiny glass, almost office type space. But when I first joined, it was this underground, I wouldn't say dingy, but I can't think of a word better than that right now to describe it. It was, you know, that type of vibe. So yeah, that was my first photo. Any comments on the gym and my henchness, or do you want to talk about your photo?
Well, I've got kind of like a similar photo, similar themed photo.
Oh yeah.
Mine.
You at the gym?
No, it was a mirror selfie of me in my running gear because I was still running at the time. So similarly to you, I feel like there was quite a focus on self-improvement or physical self-improvement. But instead of it coming from, as single people do, but instead of it coming from like a actual self-improvement standpoint, mine was pure vanity. I'd lost a lot of weight that year. I think very, very quickly.
Mine was vanity too. That's why I'm calling it lame. Like, you know, I enjoyed being strong, but mostly I was doing it to look as good as I possibly could.
Yeah, and I probably looked the best I ever have done.
No.
Around that time. I reckon so.
No, right now is when you're the best.
I mean,
ever do. This is a podcast about how you stay married.
So yeah, that was mine. But like, yeah, when you were being consistent, going twice a day, and that was the main driver. Mine was paired with that unhinged energy, I think, at the time. It was like hot girl summer and steroids. I wasn't looking after myself in other ways, but that's a different story.
How honest do you want to be on this podcast?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like, in crisis. It was fine. Maybe just like, when I was looking through this month, there was like a few pictures when I woke up with bruises because I like fallen over because I've been that pissed.
So nothing's changed.
Wow.
I mean, we could right now, if we wanted to, cut to a video of literally yesterday.
I wasn't pissed then. That was just a dog.
Well, you might have been a little bit pissed.
I wasn't. I had 2 glasses of wine.
Yeah, you're definitely not pissed on 2 glasses of wine. But yeah, I mean, the vibe of like over-exercising, overindulging is...
Yeah, exactly. It was more of kind of like candle being burnt at both ends type of jobby than actual like...
And again, like I know that vibe completely. That's pretty much...
Rather than cause for concern.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be worrying about a welfare check, considering this was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, you're here, you're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
Under, constraint right now.
What other pictures did you pick from this month?
Well, the next picture that I've chosen is my teeth. Again, period of high vanity. I was going through like a really weird crisis of confidence with my teeth. Like, I've always really not always. When I was a child, I did not look after my teeth, and hence why I had quite a lot of cavities. And I've had since a root canal and various other things. But as an adult, I've always really looked after my teeth. But I drink a lot of red wine, I drink a lot of coffee, and so naturally they annoyingly sort of stain. And I, newly single, but I saw some pictures of myself when I was in my previous relationship, and I was like, hate everything about myself, hate my teeth. So the picture that I've chosen is literally just a big, massive picture of my teeth because I'd whitened my teeth for the first time with I got like a proper guard done. Like there was £100 or something, which is crazy. You had one, didn't you? And you lost.
Yeah, it was it was a present from Sophie. She said if I ever quit smoking.
Like you got.
No, she said if you ever quit smoking, I'll fund your, because she's a dental nurse, my sister. So I'll like do the mold and do all the stuff, and I did it for about 2 days, and then I can't stand the sensitivity that it causes. It feels like your teeth are almost porous.
It didn't feel like that to me.
It did. It was like any kind of like temperature or biting into. I couldn't stand. And then also when they're like liquid, like bled onto your gums. Sometimes if you didn't do it like absolutely perfect, that burnt your gums.
Mildly irritating. It never felt like it was like.
No, I couldn't stand it. So I kind of like gave up on it about 2 days.
I was very pleased with the results, if I'm honest. Like, I'm looking at these.
No, the results look great.
No, this is years on. Like...
No, that's what. No, in the picture though.
Oh, so you see my teeth look terrible now?
No, your teeth look
fine now. Right, okay. I hear you. Anyway, that was my second picture.
Okay.
And it's all along so far a theme of like absolute vanity.
Yeah.
I was trying to meet my future wife. It worked, right? So
it did with henchness and the pearly white.
Like you're taking the piss out of me a little bit, but if I hadn't been so hench, I keep using this word. If anyone is watching thinking I mean that seriously, hench relative to how I naturally am. So like some muscle mass on my upper body anyway. Like, and then if I didn't have that and my white teeth, who knows? You may never have turned up. You may have turned up more than 45 minutes late to our first date.
Wow. Let's move on. That's a story for another day.
What was your second? You keep saying story for another day. I mean, like we could tell any story we want at this time. I don't think telling the story of our first date, although that would be the next episode,
yeah, exactly,
would take away from telling it. But yeah, we'll come to that in December. So what was your second photo?
My second picture is utterly iconic and very much telling of the times. It was me and my friend who I live with sat on our doorstep of the house that we lived in. It was a day after she had previously lived in LA. So she wanted to bring home the tradition of Thanksgiving. So we'd hosted a Friendsgiving with a dinner party of probably about 15 people, but she'd gone all out for it. She'd been cooking all week. She was battered. And this was the day after. And it's us sat on the step at like 8 o'clock in the morning. She's got a family-sized bowl of mac and cheese that she's spooning into her face, and I'm sat next to her with fag hanging out my mouth, and we both look haggard. So I feel that was quite telling of how we did things. We like to keep it classy, but ultimately, we weren't very classy.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it's rare that I encountered the classy. Like,
We were very classy for the first 4 hours of an event.
I think that's standard general behaviour. I mean, you were never very put together people in lots of ways.
Oh, yeah.
But with the white wine and the cigarettes back in the day, maybe not so much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, the cigarettes is in the past now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll come to that. I mean, I guess maybe we'll talk about that at some point. Because I can't really remember the specifics of when that was the case.
I'm surprised I got past the first date with you as a smoker, because you had a thing about...
It didn't really bother me that much early on. I think if I'd met you 5 years ago, it really would have bothered me.
Yeah.
But it didn't bother me that much. It's just I am fucking weird about, like, mouths. I can't share drinks very easily, and, like...
Or at all.
If I get the ick about anything, it will be, like, dental related. So...
And it's such a minging smell to have lingering on your breath. Especially as an ex-smoker now, and you can... but you've got different perspective on it.
But I think there are worse smells. I think, like, not flossing is worse than smoking. Like, rotting food in your mouth is worse than smoking. Like, that's the worst. I'm like, yeah, freakish about that type of thing these days. Although, yeah, we're not American, we're not as good as we could be. And yet, your sister is a dental nurse. So we've got that sort of hygienic.
She told me she's not been to the dentist in about 10 years. I was like, so, Julia Joff. She's like...
There you go, Sophie. Take a hard look at yourself. Yeah, so teeth and gym, cigarettes and, like, yours sound...
Cigarettes and mac and cheese. And again, I got a lot of pictures of me going out to various things that month. I very much embraced the whole birthday month attitude of just seeing... Because I have a lot of different friends in different groups, so I went out quite a lot. Like, I went to see Tim Minchin that month. I went to see Alan...
Stand Tim Minchin.
Can you not?
No.
Oh, I like him.
He's one of those comedians that thinks he's more intelligent than he is.
Oh, I really like him.
Yeah, you like all those comedians. You like all those people that purport to be, like, super smart. Just because, you know...
I like him and I like his music, and I went to see it. It was very good. I also went to see Alan Carr with Gemma that night. I actually had to, when I was looking up pictures for this, I've got a picture of me and Gemma outside, like, the gyros stand outside the Albert Hall.
Any of those were right.
You know what I mean now? Gyros, yeah.
Gyros?
Outside of the Albert Hall, and I was like, oh God, I remember how fucking good that gyros was.
You banged on about that years later.
Genuinely.
And
I genuinely had to, like, go through our messages to figure out, to be absolutely sure that it was on Carr, because I remember the gyros far more than the actual show. Even though the show was good. We had first row seats for that. Yeah, and I went out with generally just having, like, nice times. Got lots of pictures of me, like, having dinners.
Hot girl winter.
Hot girl winter, absolutely. Had a really nice time, actually, with my family. We went to a Syrian restaurant, and I bought, like, this sexy black dress, which I wore on our third date. So I was feeling lovely.
That's still in the wardrobe?
Yeah.
I've never seen you wear it since.
I've not had an occasion to take me out enough. They'd done a big, like, 3 Owen balloons, which usually is kind of, like, very basic bitch, but I was very much leaning into that energy that month. I was like, yeah.
You were living in, like, a place where basic bitch was kind of the vibe.
Well, you know what? I had a great time that month. I was, like, super confident. I was dead looking forward to what my 30s had to offer. I was, like, super grateful for, like, yeah, living with my best pal and just generally having a very good time.
Yeah, and that's, like, we'll come to this probably.
I had a lot of probably a bit too much brimming with, like, energy at the time. It was
No, I think we'll touch on this in the next episode about how, like, our mutual energies really, we're in a really good, strongly independent place, which is good. This one thing I just wanted to call out is that people like you from Cheshire use the word pal, and it's such a weird word.
Who other people from Cheshire use the word pal?
I mean, I'm glad that you admit you're from Cheshire. That was part one of the...
That was that trap that I walked straight into.
And you walked into it, and that's the end of the podcast, guys. That's all I've done this for.
She's from
planning. Timperley, which she claims is Manchester.
South Manchester, yeah.
It's
Trafford.
Cheshire. It's Cheshire. It's WA postcode, like, get in the bin. But the only people that I know that refer to their friends as pals are people that go to private school.
Didn't do that. Comprehensive all the way. Welly Road.
Was it comprehensive? Was it grammar?
No, it wasn't grammar. It was comprehensive.
Oh, did you not get in?
Did Blast Island.
It's like a joke. But you didn't.
Well, it's still a point of contention. Yeah, I didn't pass my 11 plus. It was, and also this is one of the one of two boroughs in the entire country that at that time when I was 11 years old still did the 11.
Wait, but I need.
It's because they had a lot of those questions where it's like facial. It was almost like 1% club to like the
Yeah,
the 11 plus. No, sometimes I'm good and sometimes I'm bad. And on that day when I was 11 years old, I was just having a bad day. Okay, so I didn't get a no. And you know what? Instead of being a small fish in a big pond, I was the biggest fish in a small pond.
Apart from them.
Apart from Mel, obviously, we were both in the same. We were both in the same fast food. So
It's cool at school, isn't it?
yeah, it's cool. And I was a nerd, and I pulled it off.
Can't be cool in a nerd.
I was.
Okay.
I was, and I walked that
I
line,
want to redeem my.
which I never would have been able to do at grammar school.
Let me just say this, right? So I'm laughing at the fact that you didn't get into grammar school. I actually didn't know that you didn't get into grammar school. I'd forgotten that of you. So I actually thought you probably just didn't even go for grammar school. Like my mum didn't let me sit the 11 plus for Bolton School. She was like absolutely adamant I wasn't going to do it. So I just assumed that was what happened. But I only.
I'll own my failure.
I can only make that joke because my wife, the amazing person, went on to then do a master's and a PhD. And
I never would have done that if I'd gone to a grammar school, just putting that out there. I've had many discussions with them. I was like, I think we wouldn't have had the nurtured environment that we went to because we were in that fast-track 16 asset school where we were doing 14 and a half GCSEs and stuff, and we were basically told, like, you are like creme de la crop.
I feel like if you'd been middle of the road potentially, bigger.
Yeah, I don't think we would have gone as far. No, absolutely.
Although that's that whole like.
I think it would have been
do whatever you want.
I don't think the environment of a grammar school would have suited me. I needed my ass kissed from an early age.
And kissed.
My ass kissed from an early age and be like, yeah, you know what, it's fine.
Narcissist and a narcissist. It's all making sense. It's all coming together now.
Well, not really, because I failed the 11 plus and clearly it's still sore points.
Right, okay. Right, my third photo.
Justified it over the years.
My third photo, because like I feel like I could go to town on that discussion.
This will be a very long episode. We're going through all our photos.
Well, I didn't anticipate that.
I've listed about 3 of mine, but I think I'm done now.
Would end up at you not getting into grammar school. But so my third photo is me with Mike Richard, who's a good friend of mine, who set up Talk About It, Mate, which I'm sure will come up in this podcast over and over again, arguably saved my life. And he's out for me with beers at what I think is Bunny Jackson's, which is a very popular bar in Manchester. And I have my super white teeth, pristine facial hair, and my absolute blonde hair.
Oh, yeah. So, we just need to mention, caveat there, at the time that we met, John had, like, peroxide bleach blonde.
Yeah, but not in a bad way. Like in a done really well way.
You say that, but I also went to the hairdressers that John, who
criticizing her own work.
Who did this,
story.
John?
Okay.
And I stayed with Chloe.
And you can judge for yourself.
And I stayed with Chloe from when I moved in until we moved again. And when we were talking about when we were getting married and stuff, Chloe, who bleached his hair, said to me, "What's John doing for his wedding hair?" And now said, "I think he's just, thinking about doing it natural." And she went, "Oh, thank God."
No,
because she didn't.
She went, "Oh, good."
She went, "Oh, good."
Yeah, not, "Oh, thank God."
Okay, fine. Hyperbole a little bit.
War crime that I had.
No, she said, "Oh, good," because the pictures will last forever, as in a direct quote from Chloe.
Yeah, but I think what she means is, like something that you liked at the time, you might not like when you're 50 years old, rather than it looked bad. Anyway, we'll show the pictures, and people can. I think I look amazing here, and I genuinely don't think that. Look, you can see the picture. Look, there you go. I think I look really.
You look like something out of Madame Tussauds.
I mean, it's probably.
You look like
a dating app.
You look like a fucking waxwork.
Yeah, that's the dating app, like retouch.
when you went through your face tuning era.
Hey, exposure. Can't all be fucking using our boobs to get dates. Some of us have.
Wow.
I mean, don't deny it.
Still got that top and I nearly it for this holiday.
Right. Anyway, my third photo is me out with Mike, and white teeth, blonde hair, and I was just like, yeah, that was the era. There's some pictures of me from this month with, I think I've got earrings in here, which I don't wear anymore, obviously, but I still have the nose ring. So I had I had my ears pierced in September, and was rocking earrings and necklaces and nose. And at this point, I'm 36. I'm not 21 years old. But I was just trying stuff, trying stuff.
Figuring it out.
Stuff that when I was younger, I never tried.
Going through your Ellen DeGeneres era.
Right. Okay. What you're saying is you're attracted to Ellen DeGeneres because you were all about this. In the next month's episode,
Yeah.
if we've got messages to share, simp it over here will be exposed. Anyway,
Not in December. I was pretty reserved in
what was your
December.
third one?
It's just a picture that I must have sent to M. And I'm like in bed, clothed. Just like arm over here, and I've got a Bungo's Bingo wristband round my wrist. So, and that was
favorite activity.
Yeah. Back then it was still novel though. I think that was my second time I've ever been. I went with Gemma and Ella.
Last year, didn't we?
It was like the theme of last year. We went so much.
Well, we did have it at our wedding as well. Like, we can't really...
That was the best one, to be fair. I was so over the formula last year.
Either our wedding or it was the Wigan one.
I didn't go to the Wigan one. I was ill.
You missed it. The way they got better throughout the year. Like, so I think, did we go for...
With Phil's stag, and we had the
Phil, if you
polyester kind of suits on, and we were sweating our tits.
We was colour themed.
Yeah, so we went Willy Wonka purple.
We were purple.
And we were wearing the Willy Wonka
But
face.
Phil, if you're watching, the person who seemed to hate their stag do more than anyone else
was you.
And you chose the activity. It made no sense.
And we were all sweating our tits off for absolutely no reason.
I was in Satan's late that night dressed as fucking Dumbledore.
Dumbledore? Willy Wonka?
I think Dumbledore.
It was very much Willy Wonka.
Well, I looked like Dumbledore on the cover of the first edition of Harry Potter that I had when I was
Did you go to Satan's? I know I left a little bit early. We went to have
I did go to Satan's, yeah, because I remember, like, it was Phil's stag, so obviously I had to stay out.
You did, yeah. I ducked out when we went to...
Standard you these days.
Yeah, I know. I've got no stamina anymore. Again, that party girl from November 2021 is gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely gone.
So, Bungos, that was your third photo.
Yeah.
Okay, my last photo of reminiscence it's a screenshot of Call of Duty, which obviously everyone's exhilarated by. Like, everyone's like, well, can't wait for this story. But it was about me, Tom, Danielle, and Laura as part of the Talk About It Mate wider group, because it was still kind of COVID at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I think people
could
realize that
people could go out and do stuff, but there were still restrictions on kind of like...
Yeah, and we
like
didn't know we were going to go back into lockdown at any point. Or whatever.
No, and there were still certain rules. Like before, we ended up going on a date much sooner than we were anticipating because the rules around the workplace, going into the workplace changed. So I was supposed to be going into the office, and then they changed it and said, no, you need to stay and work at home. So I was like, cool, don't have to go to the office. So I can go on a date with you tomorrow night. I'm not going to like stress out about that. Ironically, your house ended up being like literally 200 yards away from your house. I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
When I was driving to yours for the first time, I genuinely thought I put the wrong like postcode in because I was driving straight to work.
Well, we'll come back to that next.
Yeah.
But this particular screenshot, I chose this because I was like, yeah, that was such a nice time. We were playing a lot of Call of Duty as just like a way to connect with each other, which was just really nice, really sweet. We don't do it as often anymore. And that's a shame.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's because, real life is happening.
You could make time for it, possibly. So you did. Yeah. Well, no, you did it just before we moved house, didn't you? A few.
Yeah, we had a couple of games. Yeah. Dave gets involved now as well. So, and you got any more photos?
Just the last one of the month, just because like it's a terrible indictment of what I find interesting. Is just the fact that it snowed on the 28th of November on the street.
You know what? So far, I found you really engaging in this conversation.
I thought it was cool. I do have some other ones like screenshots, like the tablescape.
It was a big actually.
Tablescape of the Friendsgiving thing, which was really, really nice.
Okay.
And stuff like that. But I just thought the snow was like, it snowed in November. And to be fair, it was the last picture of the month. So I thought that was just like...
Organise it in a way that like will make it a bit more interesting, I think. So when we get to the text messages bit, one of the text messages that I didn't choose, but I almost did, was Martin talking about how... So for the people that don't know Martin is my best friend / brother. That's the story we'll get to another day. His wife, my sister-in-law, is a trustee of a homeless charity in Manchester. And on the day when it started to snow that month, it was really, really cold. It wasn't just
it was bitter cold.
Absolute just -8, 9, 10 or whatever. And she stayed up all night to like make sure as many homeless people got a bed to sleep.
Oh, that sounds like hell.
Yeah, so I think that particular snow coming as early as it did, like maybe that's why that's a bit more interesting than just snow.
Okay, well, it was just the last picture I had on my reel from that month, so
there we go.
there we go.
Right.
Speaking of that, like, it kind of adds to the unhinged energy that I didn't own a coat then. You know that black jacket that I've got?
Own a coat.
That black jacket that I sometimes wear now, that's what I wore throughout winter.
Oh, that really reminds me.
In fact, I wore that on our first date.
Really reminds me of Sexy Backpack Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is Georgia, by the way. Not a girl.
I don't think I wore the jacket as sexy backpack.
No,
You just wore a hoodie and leggings.
It with the backpack once, and then we went to that Tesco,
Yeah.
and I think you told me about Sainsbury's.
It was Tesco.
Oh,
Not
really?
Tesco.
It's really not that important, but
Really not that interesting either.
yeah, the boys that work there refer to Georgia as Sexy Backpack Girl. Now it would be Sexy Backpack Woman.
Yeah.
Because you've aged
Yeah.
wonderfully, but you've aged.
I haven't.
Remember when you used to lie to me and say you got ID or something?
That literally happened.
I think the last time you got ID'd, I
It
ID'd at 10.
Well, only because you're with me and they didn't want you to feel left
Yeah,
out.
but I did get ID'd at 38.
You've been with me on more than one occasion where I've got our first year together.
And I was 18. She wouldn't get ID'd.
Stop holding on to it. Like, let it go. You're 6 years older than me. It doesn't matter.
Your logic is terrible. You were with someone.
You literally got kicked. John literally got kicked out of the venue once because he was so like pissed off that I got ID'd.
I didn't. Well, I ended up getting back in, but nearly. On that note, in most episodes of this podcast, we will focus on the messages that we sent to each other. But this was a month when we hadn't met, so this particular episode is a bit spicier. Spicier is a bit different. Maybe it's definitely not spicier, but it's a bit different in the sense that we've chosen messages from people, or that we've spent or received from other people. So, do you want to start off? I've got some in here.
Yeah, I'll go first. I think I've got a pretty like self-contained idea of how this is going to go for me. For me, the month of November 2021 could only really mean, messages-wise, could only mean one thing, and that is from the housemate that I previously mentioned, and very dear friend, Emily Moore.
But you just text each other as that.
Oh, honestly, it was insane. It was like almost kind of like
worked in the same room.
We did. If we were actually together, in a romantic way, it would be considered very codependent. We woke up
in a non-romantic way. You still might be considered.
Still might. Yeah. Actually, I know what. I'm not really. I think we've kind of escaped that kind of. But we
moved halfway.
Yeah, we did lean on each other a lot. I mean, we woke up in the morning, and then we worked together. Yeah, like John said, in the third room, which was our office, our joint office, all day long. 5 o'clock rolled around. We'd walk the dog together. We'd come back. We'd cook dinner together. We'd spend all evening together, and then go to bed. So not together, separately.
Because I did find that a bit weird when I first came. You sat in bunk beds. So kind of weird.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was we not only lived together, we really lived together. We spent pretty much every waking hour together, which for both of us who kind of like in any other situation kind of appreciates social battery recharging time.
But I'm not hearing any specific messages.
Sorry, yeah. So again, even though we spent that amount of time together, we also found time to text each other if we were in different rooms.
You've got some specifics. I want to hear.
Well, I just thought I would take it from the earliest messages that I received from in November, because I think it's quite like summarising of who we are. And it was the birth of something very beautiful as well. So she says, "Are you free on December 5th?" And I said, "I think so. What's happening on December 5th?" She said, "Oh, cool." She said, "Okay, cool. Reserve it from the hours of 3:30 to 7 p.m. I said, "Intrigue. What's happening between the hours of 3:30 and 7 p.m. We were quite overly formal as well, which was weird.
Still are a little bit.
We are.
Yeah.
And she says, "You'll have to wait and see." I said, "Oh, nice. Okay, I'll reserve." It's saved as Mystery Day. And she said in all caps, "The Day of Intrigue." That's since kind of like changed to Day of Mystery.
This is so how you two talk to each other.
Yeah. So I said, "Oh my God, I'm changing it. Day of Intrigue is so much better." And then it finishes with "Sig?" ? To meet each other on the back porch for a cig, even if we're in the same house and could just knock on the door. So I think that kind of sums us up quite well, or sums up how we spoke to each other and how we were. But I do want to explain like Day of Mystery.
Before you do that, I was just about to say that I think that even that one text message sort of exposes such a key concept, not only in yours and Em's life, but also then in our life.
Yeah, overlap.
And the point of this feature is that, there's these messages that we send that
Yeah.
actually have seismic impact. So,
And I think a lot of the kind of like healing or self-confidence around that time was kind of how we treated each other. We very much kind of lent on each other. And we set our standards high with how we treated each other in a friendship. So what the Day of Mystery was referring to is that she had booked this like all these activities on that day for my birthday. That was my birthday present. And the present was kind of like, not having to organise anything and then not really knowing what's happened. It was kind of exciting. And we kept up that tradition for years. I think for that year, she'd organised the activity of the day was kind of like a sip and paint activity. Neither of us have any kind of artistic ability whatsoever. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was a little bit like out the box, something that we wouldn't normally do. When did you
do macrame?
Macrame was like during COVID.
Macrame to...
That was during COVID, and I went through a whole phase of everyone got plant hangers for like birthdays and Christmases. I must have been extremely unpopular during that time.
You literally brought it with us.
It went through 3 house moves, and I only did it for about 3 months. Anyway, so it was sip and paint, which was great, and then we took our canvases with us to Dishoom, which is this incredible restaurant in Manchester. So we displayed our artwork, and we had a load of incredible Indian food. And it was just a lovely day. And we really kept up that tradition. I think for her birthday that year, I'd booked to Go Ape, not realising really when I got there. But one, I hate heights and I'm not very physical. So it was an absolute nightmare of a day for me. But she absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then...
Remember that? We were together at the time.
We were, because it was 6 months later.
Yes, that's how time works.
Yeah. So every 6 months, we take it into to plan a day of mystery for each other.
Right, when's her birthday?
May the 7th.
That makes sense. Yep, literally 6 months.
Yeah. So again, it's kind of that kind of setting that standards for each other, how we treat each other and would like to be treated in other relationships as well. So I think it's really sweet, and it's something that we have kept up, and me and John now do it as well. We like to plan like a little surprise for each other on the day. I think when you get to this age as well, it's like you can kind of buy what you want for yourself if you wanted it.
Yeah.
So I think kind of like, so that the present is just kind of like being surprised for the day and not having to book anything. And it's just kind of like thoughtfulness that goes into it. So I really like that. And I quite like that it was born in November 2021. So that's my message. That's why I brought my message.
Considering this is the first episode of the podcast and we've already brought up the Day of Mystery. Day of Mystery is
it's integral.
There'll be certain episodes of this where the Day of Mystery is like
the highlight of the month. Yeah.
And continues to be. So I mean,
but that was the birth of Day of Mystery.
There you go. My birthday this year will be less mystery because you know kind of what's happening, but you don't know how it's happening. But we'll come to that later. All right. It's something that we usually do. So that's like a really good example of the kind of thing I think we're looking for when we look back to your messages. I've got like 9 messages. It's the back end of the talk about it made WhatsApp group really sort of being a key component of my social life in the sense that it's a group that's still going now for an organization that I was, heavily involved with for years and years. That's mental health focused charity, peer support, etc. And there was just so many incredible disclosures and like honest. When I was going through it from November, there was a person that has now, since I know, sort of gone on to get married and is really sort of like turned their whole life around, talking about how a year before this, in 2020, they'd been admitted to psychiatric hospital and they were on the road to recovery, and they were sharing that with the group. And stuff like that was incredible. And that sort of stuff came up quite a lot. But the one set of messages that I wanted to focus on was in this group, my black bin, before it was our black bin, got stolen. And it got stolen when you moved in as well, and we found it.
And you were raging.
I was
raging. You shouldn't, you honestly.
There's nothing
absolute rage.
There's nothing worse than a bin thief.
He went on an absolute tirade through all the streets, all the back alleys.
Found it.
And we went, in fact, the second time we knocked on someone's like back door and we took the puppy, didn't we? So like trying to earn a little bit of like empathy.
The first time was a teenager. So this is the third time, I think. I think it's the third time. No, this is the first of 3 times. So the first time that we found the bin was a teenager was using the bin. He was pushing it through the alley
to go see his girlfriend.
Yeah,
I remember that.
So we found the bin in a place that we just didn't know, but he was still like in the alley. It was fine. And he was like, can I still use it in the future to go and see my girlfriend? And I was like, no. I don't, like...
We did kind of find it cute, though, because there's a little bit Romeo and Juliet kind of element to it.
I'm not, like... What? Anyway, this was a time before that, and this set of messages are fantastic. So this is talk about it, mate, with WhatsApp group. So I said, my black bin has been stolen, and I am angry in capitals.
You don't understand how fucking raging this man.
11:30 in the morning, like to get angry at 11:30 in the morning is tough. I don't usually get angry full stop, so I was Mustard Tiger, who I still don't know who that is. This is a person that's always been in the group, but he's called. You know when you don't save someone's name and they're in there as whatever someone else is called, like they're a Mustard Tiger. Kill all the bin thieves, and then like this emoji. These messages get better. And then Ed says, "These people are garbage."
Top tier bants there.
And then I said, "Such an annoying crime." I didn't clock on that Ed had done a pun, so then I said, "Oh, Ed, that's trash talk." Then Ed says to me, "Stop talking rubbish." And I said, "No, I refuse."
You know what? It's a good job. You had your pearly whites and your hulky body.
Not
done. We met.
I'm not done.
Because your pants were subpar.
I'm not done. And then I said, "Well, this has been a good waste of 2 minutes." And then Ali said, "A really good waste."
That might steal it.
No, refuse is the best so far. And then Ed says, "Beat me to it." And then Ali says, "Great minds." And then I sweep in. Weird. But I'm afraid, Ed, she's been there, done it.
Look how he makes himself laugh. Everyone.
Come on, mate.
You dead chubby.
Wait, it's not even finished, I don't think. Wait, let me see. I think, right. So, Martin said, "Fuck's sake, I missed the bin chat. Is there any way that I can recycle?"
I thought he killed it dead, but he wasn't. He was adding to it.
And then Tom Leva says, "Seems you've already got it in the bag."
Oh.
And then I said,
take everything back.
And then I said,
great.
Then I said, "That's a decent one-liner." Like bin liner. That was the dregs of it. Like we'd used all the different puns that we could have put. Like, come on.
Honestly, I take it back. I didn't have high hopes for this when I started, but that was
minutes of WhatsApp back and forth, and within about a minute beyond that, we were talking about suicide. That's the kind of
yeah. It was.
That's
now you know what
my favorite. The other message that I really want.
I tip my hat to you because that's a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Those
it was good.
Great. The only other message that I wanted to call out was Sammy texted me in 2021 saying, "Is squash on the cards?"
Oh. Is that where you got your squash chat?
I haven't still to this day never played Sammy at squash.
You never played me either. He talked about it with me a month later.
That's a good thing for you. I think I was just eager to play squash.
Yeah.
And
with anyone.
Then
whether it be a dear friend or like a girl you've met once.
I mean, I was more interested in spending time with you than Sammy.
Rude.
I'm just going to call out the other groups that are in here without the other messages without particularly going into it. Oh no, there is a good message in here, around. So one was I sent it's a lot of messages to Sammy this month. Like, don't text him that often these days, but not individually. But I said, "Why are you swerving my messages in Butterbean?"
Butterbean was the name of the group chat.
My ex gave me the nickname that my head looked like a butterbean, and
I thought somebody in Johnny gave you that nickname.
No, my ex.
Oh, that's really tight that they kind of like took that group chat name there.
And my head is a weird shape. I'll take it. I'll take it on the chin.
You've got a lovely shaped head.
I've got a butterbean.
There's nothing really wrong with a butterbean shaped head.
There's nothing wrong with it. Just is what it is. But there's also a message. This was the month when I went out. There was a message from me to someone else saying, "Having the weirdest day." And they were like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because I'm out with my friend." Like, so this was a friend that I met during a musical theatre production that I was in like 2019 or something. Like 2 years later, 3 years later, 2018 maybe. Anyway, she was 18 at the time. So she's only like 21, 2 at this point. And I'm
36.
36. But we were good friends. well, I say we were good friends. We got on well. We had a good time, like drinking and stuff and being in the play. And she was like, do you want to, so we were like, we haven't met up in a while. Do you want to meet up? And she was like, I'm free on this day, but it's Veterans Day, or like, it was like the day when all the army people go out.
Right.
And her family have got like forces backgrounds.
Right.
So she was like, I'm going out with my family on this day. Do you want to come out, meet us and whatever and like hang out? I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, if that works. Because I was like super busy. Do you know what I mean? Like, couldn't, you know what it's like being out, busy all the time. But I was out the night before, and so I turned up super hungover at like 1 PM. So it was like a day sesh thing. And all her family were there. And like, we got on really well, her and I, but the vibe was just very strange. We met in like the Nag's Head in town, which is a great pub.
Oh, yeah.
And I was with them for like 8 hours. Like, I was with them all day.
On a hangover.
On a hangover, but like, I managed to like power through. But at the same time, it's just the weirdest, like their politics were different to mine. They were just very different people to me. And like, this person and I don't want to mention names, whatever, because they may not want their name mentioned. Like, we were getting on really well, like, laughing a lot, but like, at one point, her dad said to me, "Are you gay?" It's like, obviously.
Well, the aforementioned Ellen DeGeneres note that he had at the time.
Nose ring.
It's an earring.
I was probably being the campest man he'd ever seen in his life. But because this person was like a musical theatre person, my friend.
Yeah.
She obviously, like, our vibe was like that. And so we were getting on like that. And it was just a very surreal day. And I feel like that's one of those days that, like, who knows how many of those weird days I would have had in my life if I hadn't met you, where I would have, like, gone to something or done something.
It makes it sound like I'm holding you back.
No. I like, as much as it's not a core memory, but like, it's not a bad memory. It's something that I would never choose to do now. Like, to put myself in a scenario where I'm around people that clearly are like just so vehemently different to me, not in a bad way, just different, and to like try and thread that needle for 8-9 hours. It's just kind of exhausting. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to. But the only reason I did it was, well, not the only reason. I did want to see this person because I enjoyed their company. But I don't know. I think if I had a bit more like confidence in myself at that time, I probably wouldn't be like, no, it doesn't sound like that. Like, if I could get over the FOMO of things, I'd have been like, maybe not then. Maybe let's do another day, or like, whatever. And so yeah, those are my messages that were going through. So it was kind of a complex month.
Yeah, I mean, from bin thievery to Veterans Day, it was quite an odd month.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I brought several messages, and you brought just one core theme of them being great. Have you got
standard?
Before there's one other message that I want to speak about that's a bit like quite poignant, which is the last one in this bit, which is But before I do that, is there any other?
I know. I picked that because it was the first kind of like interaction. Well, I say first, obviously not. Like, it was like the first set of messages in November, and it was from that person who was so central to my life and everything that was going on right then. I just, I didn't really know. I think it was the right messages. I think it gave birth to something that we've spoken before, Day of Mystery, and I think it's just quite like summarizing. So I was like, you know what, if I add anything else to it, I feel like it's probably going to dilate that first one, which I'm pretty sure I nailed first go.
I think you're holding back because you were on so many dates and most of your messages were from boys. Yeah, see that facial reaction. Absolutely.
No.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
No.
Hot girl winter. The last message I wanted to share was from mine. He sent me a message in the context of a very, like, other messages that we were back and forth on, which basically was about me having moved on from my ex and being like really confident in my like ability to set boundaries and become like in a way that I'd never really done for a very long time. And he said to me, the night I came round broke my heart. And the night he was referring to was when me and my ex had like this, the end of our relationship, basically, when we had this massive argument and I lost my sense of control and I threw a mug against the wall. Like, I was just, because I was, in my mind, I was being treated really badly. They might think that, on their side, it was tete-a-tete, it was back and forth. And I'm not going to sit here and like blame people. But it was a really low point in, like, I've not had a night like that, as bad as that, for literally, nearly 4 years, as long as we've known each other. But eventually Martin ended up coming around that night, and that's the message that he sent. And it just made me reflect when I saw it. I was like, the progress that I've made as a person, the progress that Martin's made as a person in lots of ways, but also just like the difference taking ownership of your own shit can make, and being with the right person. Like, those are key things that ultimately you do get to decide. You don't have to be with someone because they're the person there right now. You can decide to be with the right kind of person. So I thought I'd sort of end this bit on that. I thought that was like this was before I'd met you, before we'd matched on Hinge. Like, this is before I knew I was going to meet you. And it was just a very poignant sort of message around.
You just don't know what's around the corner.
Well, this was a really low point, and it wasn't that long ago. It was like a month before that. So like, to go from that night to this text to when we met is just pretty amazing. So yeah, those were the messages. On that note, for me was, you got to, whether I said this or not already, I've lost that sense, but like, you've got to prioritize your own well-being, your own boundaries before you can be ready to meet someone else, which segues nicely on to our next episode, which is the month that we met.
I've not said what my things were yet.
All right, well, I had a nice segue, but you have said your favorite memory, but
I've not said my lesson learned. No.
Okay.
I think my lesson learned from that month, just kind of like how I was feeling and everything that was going on. It was all kind of like lovely and almost like delusionally kind of like optimistic, and like everything was like, loving life at the moment. Is that to have a sense that everything is just going to work out is sometimes okay to have, because sometimes it just goes that way. I didn't know that in 3 weeks' time I was going to meet the love of my life, my husband. Yeah, I just had a kind of sense that everything was going to be all right. And
yeah, but I think for people that don't feel like that, I think to take away from that is the idea that positive mental attitude, even if you can fake
I think honestly a lot of it
really help.
And to be fair though, to caveat that, you are right, I think a lot of it was faking it till you make it type thing. It was a lot of kind of like, I wouldn't say forced, but in a way it was kind of just kind of like summon that energy and good things might happen or will happen. And I think looking back on, and they did, yeah.
And that does segue nicely on to the next episode. The next episode is December 2021, which was a very intense month.
Yeah.
And the month that we met each other. So there's going to be lots of interesting, specific details about that PG-13 version. We'll talk about Georgia's legs and why I mentioned those before. We'll talk about...
Still can't figure that out.
Well, I'll let you know. Well, I'll let you know about the booty call that I had.
Not from me.
Well, that would have been the titillation of the teaser, but never mind. It wasn't from Georgia. That would have been. But also the 12-hour date that we went on. So all of that is coming up in the next episode. But for now, this has been Life Begins, the very first episode, November 2021. It's been great speaking to you, my darling wife.
Been great speaking to you, my darling husband. I've had a lot of fun. I've had really good.
So this is our first one, so we'll definitely,
hopefully.
And hopefully it was interesting for you guys because it's been great for us.
Yeah.
All right. See you in the next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.